Good evening, dear friends. Tonight, I have something very personal to share. Something that has stunned not just Kelly/Ripa, but so many of us who've watched Mark Consuelos light up our televisions and our hearts. It's a revelation that's brought tears, then hope. By the time this story ends, I promise you'll feel inspired, because even in the most shocking moments, there can be strength. There can be courage. And yes, there can be love that carries us through. So sit back, get cozy, and let's dive into what Mark recently revealed, what shook Kelly, and what it means for all of us. Imagine walking into a routine medical checkup, expecting nothing more than the usual congratulations for being active, being thankful, being alive. But instead, your doctor looks at you with concern. That's exactly what happened to Mark Consuelos. He had gone in, like many people do, for what he thought was a standard wellness visit. Maybe a few tests, a friendly chat, and out the door. Then came the news. A rare cardiac condition, one that had been quietly developing, almost invisible. The type of health issue that even the strongest among us might never see coming. Heart irregularities. Something that could impact his energy, his work, perhaps even his long life ahead. Kelly's world, always bright, always full, paused for a moment. The cameras, the laughter, the stages, they all dimmed for a moment. And we all felt that pause. Because hearing such a thing about someone we admire, someone who always seems larger than life, it reminds us we're all human. What stung most, it wasn't just the diagnosis. It was what it meant for daily life. How does a man who stood beside his partner through decades of public triumphs, of raising children who adore him, of working relentlessly, how does he face a health storm that could change everything? But that's only the beginning of the story, because Mark's reaction and Kelly's would surprise even the most optimistic among us. Kelly/Ripa, strong, radiant, endlessly composed in front of audiences, stood stunned. For those of us in our 60s who've watched her over the years, the image we know is always brightness and fun. But that night, off camera, she confronted fear, uncertainty, questions we all know too well. What if treatment goes wrong? What if something she can't control takes him from her? She didn't let the cameras see her grief, but behind closed doors there were tears, conversations whispered in the dark. She held on to him, reminded him, and maybe herself, of all they had built. Kelly didn't flinch when Mark needed her presence more than her showbiz smile. She listened, she researched, she embraced. In that way, she shined. Not as a host or a star, but as a woman in love, a partner enduring hard times. And just when we think we've seen Kelly's courage, there's something even more remarkable she did, or almost did, that night. Mark Consuelos, for all his public confidence, faced a private war. I can imagine him lying awake, heart more than just metaphorically pounding, with questions: will this slow me down? Will I still be the husband, the father, the man people believe me to be? But instead of giving in, he leaned in. He sought the best medical advice. He thought about lifestyle changes, not as burdens, but as promises to himself and Kelly. He began walking more carefully, eating differently, sleeping more, letting go of what he could not control. He shared this revelation, some parts, with Kelly, some with close friends, but most importantly with us, his audience, because he realized that when someone you admire shows vulnerability, you give others permission to be vulnerable too. He didn't want sympathy, he wanted awareness. He wanted to tell us that even someone who seems strong can tremble, and that trembling is okay. But there was one moment that night when Mark almost made a choice that could have changed everything. And that choice, thankfully, he didn't make. In the stillness, after the initial shock, there came a choice. Does one hide? Does one carry on as if nothing is wrong? Or does one face the fear even if it shines the spotlight on vulnerabilities? Mark made the choice to be open, to tell Kelly yes, but also to tell us. Because the turning point wasn't just about admitting there was a problem, it was about ownership, about responsibility for his family, for himself, and for the legacy he wants to leave. He promised to commit. No more skipping health checkups, no more ignoring symptoms, no more delaying. And Kelly? Kelly vowed to walk that path beside him. Because love isn't just what you say in happy moments. It's what you do when the darkness tries to overshadow. We don't often hear such promises from public figures, because many hide. But Mark's decision and Kelly's support becomes a beacon, a message to people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. It's never too late to pivot. It's never too late to choose health, to speak truth. So what does this mean for us? For you, for me, for every one of us who might have ignored that nagging ache, that odd symptom, that feeling that something is not quite right? First, health is fragile, but it's also our choice. We can't always control what happens, but we can control how we respond. Mark's story reminds us that acknowledging trouble isn't weakness. It's the first courageous act towards healing. Second, love isn't perfect. It's persistent. Kelly's stunned reaction isn't shameful. Her fear isn't unusual. But her presence, her choice to stay, to support, that is what love looks like when the bright lights fade and only the heart remains. And third, by being open, Mark is helping break the stigma. For folks in their 60s, maybe 65 like many of you watching, it often feels like once you wear a few wrinkles or cross a few birthdays, your health concerns become expected. But Mark teaches us you deserve respect, attention, care, no matter how old you are. And finally, the most profound lesson. Sometimes the most shocking revelation can become the most empowering story. Because in Mark's health revelation, there is hope. Because Kelly's response wasn't despair, it was love. Because even when life surprises us with something painful, there remains possibility. My friends, I want you to hold on to this. Strength isn't just the strong heart. Strength is the heart that keeps going when strength seems absent. And love, real love, isn't just about grand gestures. It's about showing up when the world isn't watching. So I leave you tonight with this. Check in on your own health. Don't delay. And lean on the people who love you. Because, like Kelly and Mark remind us, no matter how brilliant the sunrise, there are nights we must weather. And we are never alone in those nights. If the story moved you, share this video. Let someone know you're not alone either. And if you've had your own health scare or you walking beside someone who has, tell us in the comments. We grow together when we share our fears, our triumphs, our truths. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with me. Take care of your heart. Take care of yourself. And until next time, be well, be brave, be loved. If you've been moved by this story, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss future updates on Mark Consuelos and other important stories. And in the comments below, share your messages of love and encouragement from Mark and Kelly.